Well, hello there, City Skylines enthusiasts, and welcome back to Flyvox Talks Cities, the podcast based around our beloved city building simulation, City Skylines. My name is Flyvox, and I am here with the one and only Spuds. Hi, welcome to the show.
Hi, Flyvox. Yeah, I'm Spuds, and good to be here. I'm kind of looking forward to getting into this.
Thank you so much. Yeah, tell us a few words about yourself, please.
Uh, so I'm in my 50s. I've been playing various games for donkey's years. I've only recently kind of really started getting into doing the content creating stuff. I had a little bash at it a few years ago, but just getting
Okay.
really into it now, really. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
As long as it's fun, right?
Oh God, yeah, that's the.
Okay, so about our beloved city building simulation, obviously
Oh,
we have to talk about, Cities 2,
oh.
the sequel to our favorite city builder. When that announcement trailer dropped, how did you experience it and what did you feel while you were watching it?
Initially, disbelief. I was like, this has got to be a gag. Somebody's pulled up a like, this can't be it. No. When I finally kind of got round to, oh, this is actually happening. What? What? Oh, it's like Christmas. I felt like I was 10 years old, like it was, oh, Santa's just arrived. So, my first reaction was, yeah, disbelief at first, and then just total excitement. Like, oh, I can't wait to get my hands on it. And then my next thing was, oh, this is Unreal Engine, isn't it? And I was like, and I was one of those who was like, ooh. There was several things in that initial thing that made me go, yeah, this has been shot in Unreal. This can't be Unity the way it looked. And there was certain assets as well, like the little garage and various other things.
Yeah.
I know that's a Unreal asset, like, you know. And I was like,
Oh
it's
yeah.
gotta be. Later, I was like, actually, when I found out that no, it is Unity, I was like, bit disappointed. But then, as I started thinking about, well, that's going to be better for the modders, and if they're on the same framework,
Yeah, there was a
maybe it's not such a bad thing after all, because yeah, the modders will be along quicker than, you know.
so true, so true. Yeah,
Oh God, yeah, yeah.
there was some confusion about the engine because the announcement trailer was, as you said, in Unreal
Yeah,
Engine, right? And
yeah,
of course, it said no gameplay or not actual gameplay footage. But I just thought, like, when I watched it, right, I was like, oh, mind blown. Like, I was like, oh my
yeah, yeah,
God,
yeah,
what are we
yeah,
getting here? Is this actually the
yeah,
sequel, right?
yeah.
So I was
I mean,
having,
the main thing I was like, oh, it's not cartoony. They've gone for a proper realistic look. Oh yes, got in there. I was like, oh, that's one of the things with CS1 that I'm not too fond of is that kind of cartoony aesthetic.
yeah.
Some of the assets have got some of it's really, really nice, but one or two of the original bits and bobs.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I also loved, I mean, even if it wasn't actual gameplay footage, right? It just, the
Mm,
announcement trailer, it just
mm.
looked so gorgeous. And the storytelling in that
Yeah,
trailer, right? Like
yeah,
the
yeah,
initial, you see the underground power
yeah,
line, like this
yeah,
little
yeah.
seed plant, and then you saw the power line going up
And the big
out of the
zone
ground, and it was like, oh my God. And
big
then
zone
like, yeah, you've seen the roundabout
yeah,
shot, and it was like, that was so
yeah.
amazing.
Oh, so amazing.
Yeah, 100%.
Blown away.
And then we actually got to see the first gameplay trailer. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts on that one? You know, the one where they opened with like this huge interchange highway, the roads and stuff. What did you think about that?
Oh, I was like, oh, look at the way everything connects. Look at that junction. Look at the way that's extended. It was just one thing after that. I couldn't focus on any particular thing because it was like, oh, look at that, look at that, look at that in the back. I was pausing stuff and going, oh, what's that in the background over there? What's that in the background over there? Over there, what's that? What's this?
Little details
Yeah.
everywhere.
Oh God, yeah, so much. Yeah.
Exactly. And I was the same actually. I was like, when I watched that, the way also they put the message out, like it's all about you, the player,
Mm,
right? They did this
mm.
whole thing where it's like, the city, and we got all of this, but it's nothing without you, the player. And I was getting a bit emotional. It was like, oh my god, right? It was just like,
That,
and the visuals overall, how it looked, it was so good. It was just so good. Everything I hoped for up until this point, right?
yeah, that's what was so funny when you're doing the reacts with Joy, because she just reacts so well, you know. She just,
Yeah, yeah,
she just
that's so
does.
true. Yeah.
She just does. She's just great. Uh,
And those are very fun to do, actually. Yeah.
oh
So
yeah, I've been enjoying watching them. To be honest, really enjoying watching them.
glad you enjoy that. Yeah. Speaking of those reaction videos, so you have seen the Dev Diaries and the Dev
Oh
Insights
god, yeah.
video
Oh
as well,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So we're getting like weekly update
yeah.
videos on the game. What do
Mm.
you think of all the features that we now know are implemented, like up until this point?
Pretty much every one of them, I've been like, yeah, that's the right thing to do. That's a good change. That's the way to do it. There's only one that's kind of got me. I'm not so sure about that. I hope it's toggleable kind of thing, and that's the tree growth. Because
Right.
I like to, when I'm coming to detail, I want to be able to set the size of the trees myself to, if we want little trees out the front and big trees around the side. I want if I've got to wait for them to grow.
Yeah,
That,
that is something that I also was like, okay, so you plant tree saplings and then they
mm,
grow into like full grown trees. That's a question I think a lot of people have actually when it comes to City Skylines 2 is how will this work when I just want to detail an area with like full
mm,
grown trees? As you said, maybe there's a toggle option. Maybe we can toggle it. So maybe we
mm,
can choose, plant a sapling or
mm,
plant a full grown tree, but like nobody knows. For me personally, the best dev diary so far was the first one, the road tools.
oh
Like
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
I couldn't believe they started with such a banger. I mean, of
yeah,
course, the roads are the heart of your city,
yeah.
and I just couldn't believe what I saw, parallel mode, the cut and fill road tool, roundabout builder, friggin' TMPE light, a light version of the
hmm
TMPE
hmm
mod, and I'm watching that, I'm going
Dynamic,
crazy. It's
dynamic pathfinding.
the pathfinding, oh my
Yeah, the
god,
traffic
the
accidents, the
traffic
rerouting.
accidents.
That's like what?
Was like, oh
Yeah,
my
bang.
god, yeah, exactly. Like the top of my head flew off because it's like these
Yeah.
features are so amazing, and yeah, like hands down, the best thing so far out of everything that I now know from these Dev Insights, Dev Insight videos is the new pathfinding. What you just said, right?
Oh yeah.
The AI pathfinding now with the cost points, the intuitive like lane changing, bypassing
Mm,
traffic
mhm,
accidents,
mhm.
bypassing traffic jams, taking all the lanes, service vehicles overtaking slower cars if possible, cars making room for service vehicles if possible, like
Jumping
all
in
of,
at the lights, all of that.
yeah, all of these features. I'm like, oh my god, like the traffic AI, I think that was the second dev diary that dropped. That was a great one. I mean, the road
Mm,
tools is for me was like the best one, right? But
mm,
the from the traffic AI, that new pathfinding was just like, I was
mm.
like,
Oh yeah.
this is everything I've ever wanted in City Skylines, right?
Oh indeed, indeed.
Yeah. So you did say about modders and asset creators about the engine, right? So
Mm.
how strong do you think the modding community will be in City Skylines 2?
Oh, every bit as strong as it is in CS1. I think there'll be a race to get the first mods up. I think there'll be kudos amongst that, the modern community. I want to be the first one to get a brush tool up. I want to be the first one to get this. I think there'll be pretty much a race between them to see who gets the first stuff up.
Yeah.
I think we're the same with the map makers and with the asset creators. The buildings and stuff. So yeah, I see it being just every bit as strong as CS1 because
Yeah.
everyone's so hyped for it, and including the people who make the mods. They're all
Oh yeah. Yeah.
you know.
100%. And I mean, hats off, to the modding community,
Oh God,
because
100%,
like
yeah.
the modders especially,
We salute you.
they work so hard
Mm,
on this game or
mm.
on their mods.
Yeah.
to bring the players a better, in air quotes, playing experience, more convenient playing experience. And yeah, I just like, sometimes I think it's kind
They
of
take a good
unfair
game
when,
and turn it into a great game.
yeah,
You know,
100%. So
what the modders do with taking a base game that's already good in its foundation, but they just take it and just put it on another level with the things you can do and the different quality of life stuff that just it allows you to be able to focus more on the game itself and be able
mhm.
to build what you want to build rather than doing all that micromanagement stuff. Like, oh, I've got to empty this set of bins over here. I've got to go and clear this graveyard over here. Oh, I forgot to turn this one off from emptying back to, you know.
Yeah,
And the base game would have you micromanage the whole time, and it takes away from the actual building experience when you get to a certain point where you've got a city big enough. It's like the magic hack where they spin the plates on the poles. You know,
yeah,
you're gonna be doing this. You can get into a dizziness of that, and with the mods to take the quality of life and just go, yeah, we can deal with all that for you. Now you can concentrate on designing and building a nicer city. You know, it does revolutionise the gameplay in that way. You know, you're not constantly focused on. I've got to deal with this. I've got to deal with that. I mean,
yeah.
don't get me wrong. I like to manage stuff, but I don't like to be constantly having to micromanage stuff just to be able to have it function. You know.
Yeah, like especially what you said about emptying out, the landfills, the cemetery, just as a small example, right? That's something that's like in my vanilla builds, I'm like, sometimes it can get quite annoying. That's so true. So I'm
Yeah.
also glad that there's like a mod for that. There's help for that. Which I think I wanted to just say that sometimes I think it's just like kind of unfair that some people blame modders, when we have a new update. Well, we're not going to get any more updates or expansions for Cities 1, but when the game got an expansion and, of course, some mods had to be overhauled,
Hmm.
people forget that modders, they have a real life too. They
Oh yeah.
just like, they have jobs, families. They can't work like on mods 24/7,
Hmm.
like not all of them, right? So
Hmm.
I always found that a little bit unfair, people bashing like, oh, stupid mod, my game doesn't work. Like, you have to be in charge of your mods. You got to see
Hmm.
that you're up to date. You have to read about uncompatible mods. You have to read about broken mods. You have to, it's like your game.
It's on you. It's your game.
Yeah, you decided you want to play with mods, so you have to play with mods, and that also means that you have to see that your mods are maintained, that they're up to
Hmm.
date and everything, right? So I thought that was, sometimes I found that kind of unfair. Every time I saw like discussions about that, or it was like, just turn them off, go vanilla style, right? Just,
Yeah. Yeah.
or just make sure that your mods are up to date, right? In Cities 2, however, it's going to be interesting because
What would
from
all be vanilla for the first
it's
couple of months in it, you know?
yeah, it's gonna be vanilla for everyone. And honestly, I'm not sure I need mods for Cities 2. Like,
Yeah,
if
the stuff that's in there, it's so many mods
right,
are
yeah,
in there.
yeah.
You know,
It's like, I
yeah.
don't even think I'm gonna need any mods. I'm just gonna go vanilla for like, and not even think about having any mods. I mean, of course, maybe like, I don't know. We get random traffic accidents, right? Random.
Yeah.
They're just gonna be
Oh,
randomly generated traffic accidents. I can already see a mod, no traffic accidents, right? If you
yeah,
like,
that's
if you
gonna be
don't,
one of the
that's
first
gonna
ones,
be
isn't
like
it?
one of the first ones, right? So if you don't want that, if it's not, I don't think
I
it's a
suspect
toggable
that
option.
I was about to say, I suspect that may be kind of a toggleable thing because
Maybe.
even in CS1, there was quite a lot of toggleable options that I
Fair.
would expect
Yeah.
similar kind of options are going to be there for, two and stuff. Things like the hash or unlock all and those kind of things. They were
Hmm.
part of the base game from the off, so I don't see why they wouldn't be in the second one.
That's so true. Yeah, it's going to be
Um,
really interesting to see what kind of options
mm,
we're going to get in Cities 2. Yeah, that's right. So, Spuds, other than the tree saplings, do you have any other concerns about City Skylines 2 that arise now after seeing all of this footage?
um, the one thing I'd like to see more of the European stuff. Because I chiefly work kind of in a European style, as it were, and everything we've seen so far seems to be more geared towards the American market, the American viewer, and
Okay, okay.
he could have shown a bit more of the European. That would have been nice. I would like to
Yeah.
have, what I'm really wanting to see is there a line tool? Is there a brush tool? What are the rocks like? What are the trees like? I was hoping to see a bit more of that in today's one, with it being maps and teams. I thought, oh, maybe we'll see a little bit of the cliff
Yeah.
themes and the gravel and the grass textures and no. So I'm hoping we get to see some of that at some point. Like,
I'm sure there will be additional
yeah.
footage where we will get that kind of stuff shown. But yeah, like the one thing that I'm really hoping for, as you said just now, is a line tool, right?
Mm.
Prop line tool. Just please let me draw trees in a line. Come on, like every time I go vanilla, I'm like, oh right, I need to
You gotta
plant
click,
every
click,
single
click,
tree
click. Oh,
individually just to like outline a road like left and right, if I want to do that. And so, yeah, prop line tool or a tree line tool would be something I would really hope for in cities too.
it makes it. I always feel for it when I'm watching a console player and the planting trees and the size of the hitboxes when they're trying to plant trees there around. It's like, oh, come on, that's ridiculous.
So true, yeah. So speaking about City Skylines 1 and planting trees, but
Mm.
more of the game itself, how did you first hear about City Skylines 1? And is there anything or anyone that maybe inspired you to start playing the game?
Actually, I was kind of late to it. I started seeing it being advertised on Steam and stuff. Was probably where I first seen it, and then, but at that time I was kind of put off from playing city builders, and I've played lots of them in the past, like various different ones, SimCity, Megalopolis, and never quite been there with different games. And then the one before City Skylines, whatever it was that I was playing, was like, oh my god, this is hideous. Get it off my computer. Oh, get it on it. And it completely put me off the genre for a while.
Okay.
And then one day I'm just browsing Steam, and Steam being what it is, and their sales, it was on such a ridiculous time. It was something like 80% off, 90% off. Or whatever. Yeah, okay, click. And then, yeah, started playing it and never really looked back.
Very
I've,
nice.
I've,
So,
I've had a couple of spells where I got frustrated with it and then left it alone for a couple of months and then come back to it.
okay.
But that was more in the early days. And then once I got to a certain point with it, I was like, okay, I've got this game now. I've got it. I've got it. I've got to grips with it now. I can do what I want and whatever.
Very
It's
nice.
not been off my
So,
computer since, kind of thing. So
yeah. So a Steam sale basically got you hooked on City
it did.
Skylines. I
It did.
like
It did.
that. I
It
like
did.
that very much. Yeah.
Steam sales have also got a lot of rubbish in my library as well. That's never been played. No, it's been played for 20 minutes and gone, oh god, why the hell did I buy that?
Out, get out, just get out.
Yeah,
That's fair, yeah.
so much of that stuff.
So, what was your first playing experience like, and do you have anything special that you remember from your very first time playing City Skylines?
The first time it was like, okay, this feels very intuitive and straightforward. For the first 2 or 3 hours until it started getting into, hang on, okay, traffic's starting to do funny things, and how's this
What is
managed? And I need to
happening?
do it. Yeah. So yeah, it can be a bit overwhelming for new players, and the game's not maybe the best at telling you what you should be maybe doing and what not doing at a certain particular point, and what you should be prioritizing and kind of thing. So yeah, it's a very steep learning curve when you first come to cities, but there's so many different systems that you've got to learn, from the education, the health, the taxation, blah blah blah, and the list just goes on and on and on and on and on. The cities,
Yeah.
it's like you see people asking about BOs. Oh, so what do you do with this? Well, you build a city, you manage a city. Oh, right, okay. So what do you manage? And then you say, well, you manage the health, the education, the debt care, the taxation, the road system, the water system, the electricity system.
Everything.
People are just looking at you glazed over, like, what?
Yeah, that is so
Uh,
true. It can really get overwhelming for sure. Like
mm,
and as you said, it's the game. It's like City Skylines is not really good at telling new players what exactly they need to do to solve
Mm,
various problems. I mean, there's the little
mm,
advisor, of course, we don't want to overlook that, but
mm.
as like that, like how did I learn to play the game? I jumped right in, of course, after
Yeah.
seeing
Oh, yeah,
after
yeah, yeah.
I got hooked by Imperial Jedi on YouTube because I saw a video of his.
All right. Yeah, you get a
Yeah,
couple
and
of
so
that.
I jumped right in, and of course bankrupt like after like 2 hours because everything was broken, and I built so many tunnels right off the start. And it's like
Uh,
cost so much money, and
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
I had to watch like a lot of tutorials, or not like really tutorials, but like these let's plays on YouTube, right, where
Yeah.
people
Yeah,
how
yeah,
to start your city. And
yeah.
so, okay, so the best way to save money is
Yeah,
this,
yeah,
and you
yeah,
do
yeah.
that, and then you can do this. So I did lots of like build alongs with
Mm,
my favorite content creators, right?
mhm.
And that's how I like learned, taking bits and pieces from every content creator that I
Mm,
watched and just throwing it all together to like for me to get the best start to a city that I
yeah,
can
yeah,
could
yeah.
do then. And so it's really cool that like early on you had all of these like amazing creators that already put out content like instantly. I mean, I started playing in like 2018. I think that's when the game came out for console because I started on
Ah, right, right.
PlayStation 4. I was a console player for a couple of years. And so the game was like 3 years old already. And of course, there were quite some Let's Plays, tutorials. I mean, the how to
Oh,
start your
the
city,
amount of content
like,
is
yeah, and
amazing.
I feel like it's getting more and more every day.
Oh
Like
yeah, for
it's just
sure.
like there's like every day you feel like there's 30 new content creators picking up city skylines
Yeah.
and doing videos on it. And so especially with the how to start your city, it's like every year like every year you get a new how to start your city. So I was
In
very
22, in
yeah,
23, in 24.
you
Yeah.
just change out the year, right? So
Yeah,
then you're
yeah.
good. So no, but that's
I'm
I
sure some of them are the same video, they just updated the title.
yeah. Just throw the same video and just update the year. Maybe there's a new DLC, so you'd have to work that in. But yeah, that's how I learned a lot just by watching all of these how to start your city. And yeah, because City Skylines it can give you some technical pointers for sure on how to play the game, but
Mm,
like it's not, I don't know, it's kind of weird to explain. You have to know what you're doing, sort of. You have to get a feel for how the
yeah,
game
yeah,
mechanics
yeah.
work, how traffic, you mentioned traffic as well. You gotta figure that out. Like that's a process I've figured out like long after I started playing like properly for me, where I can say I'm pretty confident in, building a city without traffic backing up. And if it does, I can fix it in a matter of like minutes,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, but that took time. And so it's
Oh
it's
god,
very
yeah. So
complex.
there's
Yeah.
no substitute for
Yeah.
just actually playing and getting in hour after
Exactly.
hour after hour and
Exactly.
just. But it does help when you've seen people like Bifford and Sam Bear and the various traffic fixes and what have you, and you see
Yeah. Yeah.
them showing, well, this was the issue in this city, and and this is how we fixed it in this city. We did this and we did that. And when you see that can give you, oh well, I can see how that relates to what's going on in my city, and you can work out, well, okay, that solution worked in that guy's city with that, which is a similar issue to what I've got going on here. Maybe if I try something similar,
Exactly. Yeah.
and that's one of the things I love about it, is that there are so many different ways you can approach different knotty problems like that. You know what I mean?
Mm,
There's no this is the right way or this is the wrong way.
yeah.
There's what you can find working in one city might not work in the next city, and there's many different ways to it. And that's one of the great beauties of it, is the openness of the sandbox. It's that you can just approach it in all these different ways.
100%.
It's a
Yeah.
mind blowing game in that
Yeah.
in that
That's
respect.
so true. And the thing is about these, like, especially you mentioned Biffa as well, like the traffic fix, city fix
Mm,
videos where like problems are shown, and I always felt like that's kind of relatable. Like I've seen this issue in my city as well.
mm,
So, and then
mm,
you could try various approaches that are shown in these
mm.
city fix videos, and that's also something where you could, where I, for myself, I just got better at managing traffic, fixing traffic in my own city. And I thought, yeah, that's really cool that you have these creators that dedicate their time to doing these fix videos, because those help a lot. And of course, playing the game, just play, play, and play and play.
I couldn't make that kind of content myself, though. I just want to build stuff. You know, it's just like, get in, build, get something pretty up, get something built, get something. Doing that, fixing the traffic. Oh, it drives me crackers.
It's
If traffic's going wrong, I'm like, oh, just work, will you? When I got to the point where I can mostly handle traffic, you kind of get blasé with it because you're like, okay, yeah, I can. If I've done it reasonably like this, should all work. And then you spend too much time with the builder, you take your eye off the ball. It's like, oh, what's going on there? And then you got to go fix it, which is not the best always. Like, that's the one that always
yeah.
comes and bites me back in the bum down the road. Is the traffic where I've been a bit too blasé with it, even though I'm pretty good with it most times. If you push it a little bit too far, you can just bang and it crashes. You know?
I also find when I find traffic problems in my city, especially, I'm like, oh my God, why? Right. But
Mm,
honestly, I kind of like fixing traffic. It's really kind of fun for
mm.
me. I don't do that sort of content. Like, I didn't do it for Cities 1, and I probably won't with, Cities 2 around the corner, basically. But that's also something I really enjoy doing. Like, is there something very satisfying in just seeing
Mm.
that gridlock slowly but surely disappearing, and all of a sudden you have a continuous traffic flow in a spot that was like previously congested.
Oh yeah,
Very,
for
very
sure. Oh yeah,
satisfying. But it does take patience.
it is.
It
It's a
does
grind doing it.
take
It's a
patience. Yeah.
yeah. The reward for doing it once you see it all flowing, it's like it's one of the greatest satisfactions in the game is when you've got a nice section of road or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and it's just the traffic's just flowing through it lovely. It's hypnotic.
Yeah.
You can watch it for hours, especially if what you've built around it's nice. Like you know what I mean. It's one of my favorite bits of the game is when I have built something nice and I'm going, oh my god, did I just build that? Really?
Yeah.
Did I build it? Oh, look like on.
100%. That is super cool when you actually get to build stuff, and then you just gaze upon it and you're like,
Yeah,
"Wait, I
yeah,
did this. This looks really good."
yeah,
It's
yeah,
really good.
yeah.
I'm
It's
surprised
it's.
by my own stuff at times as well. So, yeah.
Mm,
So we talked about like YouTube content creation, right?
mm.
And you're a YouTuber yourself. Was City
Only small time, like
Skylines related to you starting to create content?
not initially, no. The first thing I made content for was Fallout 4.
Oh,
Um, I making settlements in Fallout 4. Kind of, I don't know if you've played the game, but
no, I haven't played
it's kind of
Fallout. No.
a post-apocalyptic first-person RPG kind
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm-hmm.
adventure type thing. But in Fallout 4, modern community come together and made it very much into a settlement builder game as well.
Yeah.
And the settlements you could build were pretty cool, and you were building it out of all kinds of bits and junk and various other things, and whatever you could find in the wilderness, kind of thing that you could turn into building materials
Yeah.
and build settlements out of. But I kind of approached it in a similar way to Skyline, so I'd have a school and a hospital and a shop and a mechanic shop and a farm and
I
a
see. I
water
see.
system and electricity systems. Yeah, it was really fun game to do that. I haven't played it in 2 or 3 years at least. So yeah, that was my first couple of videos, and then I didn't make any for years, and then as it got better with City Skylines, it was influential in like starting creating again and going, screenshots ain't gonna do this justice. You need to you need to make videos
Yeah.
for he's like, when you get to a certain stage, you're like, yeah, screenies, not doing it justice.
Fair, fair. So Cities
So
was,
yeah,
yeah, the catalyst that brought you back
kind of, yeah.
to content creation. Cool, cool. Super, super cool.
But I like I say, I don't really mind at all. I only put like 2 or 3 videos up, like, you know what I mean? And they were absolutely terrible. The videos, like the builds were great, but the videos were, yeah, recorded
I
on
mean,
a
yeah.
laptop microphone and stuff. And even the first ones on Cities, yeah, they were the same. They were laptop microphone as well. So
Well, I mean,
yeah,
my
bit
very
more audio on
first
them.
Yeah, my very first City Skylines video didn't have no microphone. I just did like a time lapse. Let's start a
Mm.
city. I just did a time lapse of that. Oh, this was very interesting, like an interesting journey for me as well, because I started creating content around mostly Mario games, Super
All
Mario
right.
Maker, yeah. So platforming games, I was always into that. I was, I was brought up with Nintendo consoles, so I loved the Mario franchise especially, and I started watching Mario content creators that create content around this game Super Mario Maker, which is essentially you can create your own Mario
Yeah,
levels,
yeah.
share them with the community. They can play your levels, and so it's a builder game as well, sort of, I guess.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. I've seen a few Mario Maker levels being played and stuff. There's some nightmare ones I've
it's
seen
so
that
true. It's
make
so
really good
true.
YouTube videos. Like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was the other side. I was Team Sonic.
Ah,
And,
okay,
and
okay.
where we were, you were either it was you had to be one or the other. You were either
It's
you were either Nintendo or
yeah,
Sonic, and in
yeah,
the
yeah.
UK it was all
Sonic,
Sega won that
Sega.
battle in the UK.
Okay, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was never into Sonic, honestly. I'm like,
Well, yeah,
I
that's
played
it.
it, but it's like
Everyone was either one or the other, you know. So,
I've watched a lot
uh,
of Mario Maker content as well, like
mm,
YouTube videos, live streams. I just loved engaging with the creators on their lives and just like the Mario content in general because yeah, some really funny stuff happens there and just I was like, I can do this too. This seems like fun, right? Let's just,
mm,
try and create some videos. So I did that for a bit I don't know, for about like a year, 2 years maybe, before I then like, okay, I could maybe, when I also got better in cities and I was like, this game is so amazing. I have to share this, right? I have to
yeah,
share this game with the world, right? In my mind, I was sharing it with the world. And so I started making videos from my console. As I said, the first video, just a time lapse with some music, nothing more. And the second video I got okay, we can do with microphone, I guess. And then the second episode of that series, it's still up on my channel, by the way. The second video was then with commentary. And since I had done the first video in time lapse, I actually did like a recap of the first episode, what I built. So it's kind of like the start, I guess. And it was so
that
much
makes sense.
fun. Yeah, it was just so much fun. And of course, like for me, my journey, I've mentioned it many times. When I started to create content like semi seriously, right? I mean, it is still just a hobby, of course, but I just like I take it
I,
like serious, kind of, and I want to keep to my schedules. I want to keep to my uploading platforms, and I do upload a lot. And I try to be, engaging wherever
mm,
I can, because it's also so much fun, right? It's just so much
mm.
fun engaging with the amazing community, amazing people
Oh,
that I get to know on this journey. So cool. And so I uh lost my train of thought there.
but it was the content creating that actually brought me to the community. Really, I'd always kind of shied away from Discord and stuff for years
Right,
because
right, right.
um, playing multiplayer games, whenever I done it, was always just total toxicity, and I'd always just
Yeah,
assume
yeah.
associated Discord with
With
multiplayer
that,
gaming
yeah,
and stuff,
yeah.
and that, and gone, well, yeah, don't need to be doing that. I'll like stick to my first person games and building me stuff and doing blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually Dean from City Timelines who kind of introduced me to Discord. And said, "Yeah, would you come on, jump on Discord?" And then started introducing me around the community and stuff in terms of like, oh yeah, there's a good server to jump on and whatever. Then I kind of started going, oh well, right, this community's so much more than I realised it was. I'd already been in like one or two Facebook groups and stuff like that, which is it, and everyone was pretty cool and them and stuff. But it wasn't really until I got into Discord I was like, wow, this community is just amazing. And just seeing
It's
how
epic, yeah.
much people help each other out behind the scenes, and there's none of that toxicity that you see in other games, and everyone's so kind of competitive and oh, I gotta win, and
Yeah,
everyone's
yeah.
try harding all the time, and that's it. That leads to that toxicity, and there's just none of that in cities. Everyone's like, oh, you've got an issue with that. Oh, that might be this mod doing that. Oh, you've got an issue with that. Oh, try doing this. Oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Everyone's just
very helpful and
mm.
Yeah.
It's an amazing community,
It's all of us together. It's like, yeah.
And it was really too getting into doing the content creating that, you really kind of got into meeting that side of the community because, yeah, I was like, God, like it's always going to stick away from that, that toxicity kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. That's so true. I agree with that. The community is just truly amazing. I also thought that like this, I've seen some stuff happen in the Mario Maker community, especially that was also like, yeah, okay, questionable at best, right? And then, but in Cities, Skylines community is just like nothing but amazing. It's just really, really
Everyone's
good.
just wanting to build, wanting to help.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Amazing.
Yeah. I remember now what I wanted to say, actually. Just about my content creation journey. So I also posted clips on TikTok, and I also started with, Mario clips, but then I threw in some Skylines clips, and the TikTok algorithm pushed one of my Skylines videos out to like 1.5 million views, and so I got like 10,000 followers from that clip. And it's like,
Nice.
okay, and how that goes with when your content like goes viral, or one of your pieces of content, and you double down on
Well, not
that.
yet.
So of course I was like, okay, so I guess I'll do more City Skylines then. And so already like Mario started to drop off a little bit, but I was still live streaming Mario content, still doing like YouTube videos for Mario content. But then like it just, the algorithm from TikTok's just like, okay, City Skylines, and it pushed out another video, and I got like, I'm up to like I think 23,000 24,000 followers now, which it's okay. It's really good for me, right? And there I got to a point where I was like, okay, I got to make a choice here, right? I need to put more Cities content out because the algorithm like kind of pushed me there, because I was like a
This is what it's.
variety streamer, and that's especially difficult for YouTube because like, okay, you do Mario content and you do City Skylines
Yeah.
content, so if like a Mario video pops off a bit and lots of people watch it, and then the next week I upload a City Skylines video, and the algorithm is like, okay, I'm going to push it to your audience. Wait, nobody's watching that. What's happening, right? And then it's like all confused, and it doesn't know what to show my audience. And so that's like, because these two games are just like so different. And so I just made a choice, and I decided to drop all content and go hard on City Skylines, right? And
You'd think there'd be a bit of crossover with it being like building and creative and stuff with the
it could
like
be,
this
it could have been,
like with the Minecraft as well. You know what I mean?
yeah,
There's quite a crossover there. I've seen quite a
100%,
few of.
100%. Yeah, looking back, I could have made that, I could have bridged the gap a bit better if I had just thought about it a bit more, right?
Hindsight's a wonderful thing, and always. Yeah,
100%. I love
it
that though,
is.
because there is like a connection. It's the building connection, right? So that's actually a thing. That's so true. That's so true. But I did.
But the thing is, the audience for those kind of things it because they're creative games where you go and create stuff. There's always going to be a crossover audience there. You know what I mean? Because people who are into one creative outlet are quite possibly going to be into another one, and it's so yeah. There should be a greater crossover really for the algorithm to be able to pick up on.
Fair. I guess I wasn't
You
doing
would
the
think
right
anyway.
the right Mario videos.
That's it. Yeah,
But that was interesting. But that's how I came to be like the City Skylines content creator. But I'm glad I did this, right? So I mean,
God, yeah.
lots of opportunities rose up for me over time just because of City Skylines. So I'm really thankful for that. 100%. Spuds, tell me, what is something that you enjoy most about City Skylines? We know it's not
Being
fixing
able to.
traffic, right?
Well, no. That's not my favorite thing, but I do like it when, as you say, when you have done a nice fix and it all works. For me, it's about making eye candy. It's about sitting back afterwards and going, "Wow, did I make that?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool." So yeah, I like being able to make stuff that just makes me go, "Wow, I made that." That gives me that real serotonin fix of like, "Whoa, I made that! I can't believe I just made that."
Yeah, that's so true. That gives for like, I know this the feeling. So it's for me as well. It's like the inner satisfaction of wow, I created this bit. That's so
Mm,
amazing.
mm. And
On
it's almost the same as well with the content creator. When you've made a good video and you sit and you watch it
right.
and you think, yeah, that's watchable. That's it, watch that.
That's
You
so
know,
true.
and it's like that's the kind of standard I put onto it. When I first started doing videos, I look back at them, I think that's not that watchable, really. And it took a while to be kind of go, okay, well, yeah, I can reasonably edit. I mean, I'm not an expert editor or anything, but I can edit it enough to be go, okay, well, it's a coherent video that you can follow and watch and enjoy, and
Yeah.
you know, and it's not just complete cobble. You know, which the early ones were. I mean, the first couple of ones I was putting out, I was using the Windows video editor.
If it works, right? If it works, why not?
Well, yeah, but it was like now obviously I'm using DaVinci and what have you. But, you know, those very early ones, like
I mean,
little I knew at the time, kind of thing. You know.
we grow as content creators,
Yeah, yeah,
so
for
yeah,
sure.
that's like that's the
But,
main thing. Like especially like when you do like Mr. Beast said it the best. Like if you put out a video, next video just try to be 1% better. Like
mm,
pick something
mm,
that you want to improve it in the next video, and so on and so
mm.
forth. And then over time, you'll make great videos. That's
Oh,
I think
this is it.
that's
Yeah.
some good advice.
But it's a bit like playing the game itself. It's you've just got to keep grinding at it, grinding at it, grinding at it. Over time, it'll click.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, it's like any skill. If you practice and you practice, you'll get there. You
that's
know,
so true. On the other hand, is there anything that you maybe don't like about City Skylines?
bus routes,
The bus routes, okay.
playing bus routes. Yeah, putting them into a nightmare. You don't want to go where you want to put them. That's one. And one that bugs me is the scaling with some of the assets. Things like for instance, the nuclear power station
Yeah.
and the vanilla high school. If you put them together and you go, okay, let's take a look at a high school and a nuclear power station in terms of size, and let's have a look at them. Oh, yeah, they're exactly the same size. It's like,
I've never compared the two. That's so interesting.
but yeah, it's like, but and even that, it's like the high school. It's what, two, three houses in size. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, so yeah, some of the scaling is it's pretty off. So that's kind of, yeah, I'm not down with that. Like, so but then that's why we have the workshop, isn't it? So yeah,
Oh, yeah. So
you know,
true.
that's it. Where the workshop comes to the rescue.
Yeah.
I think the when I look at some of the scale, I think the early developers, one or two of them were working on one scale, and one or two of them were working on another scale, and then they come to the end and they were ready to get the game up. We were, oh no, we're just gonna have to go with it. Mash them two different scales together, kind of thing.
Spuds, what is something that you struggle most with in the game? Like what's
Well, traffic.
right?
I'm mostly mastered, but yeah. Every now and again, I tend to hubris it, and it'll come back and bite me in the bum, and go, "You need to go fix that."
Yeah. Yeah. It's like
Um, yeah, that's probably the biggest one that makes me struggle.
I totally get that. As I said,
Oh,
like even with like
and
the knowledge that I have, it's like even my cities also break sometimes, right? Especially in
yeah,
the
oh,
traffic department. So the worst thing is when I'm like focusing on micro detailing an area, I zoom
mm,
in, I
mm,
work there, I put up benches, trash cans, and little details here and there. I work there 20, 30 minutes, I zoom out, and then all of a sudden, because you left the game on
it's easy in
play,
flames.
and you're like, the city's going to hell in
Yeah,
bits and pieces because like traffic is backed up everywhere. I'm like, oh my
uh,
god, what happened? And then I get to
mm.
fix it though. But yeah, that's also something like
Or the
even
other classic, you turn around and it's a massive death wave, or it's gold
right,
everywhere.
right, right, right. That's something that
Uh,
yeah, what I really don't like in the game, it's not a big deal, but it's the how the game, how it slopes, how the slopes look in the game,
oh
how
yeah,
sometimes when
yeah,
buildings
yeah,
spawn in or you place a building, it's all like
yeah.
crooked.
The way
When
some stuff conforms to the terrain and some
yeah,
stuff doesn't is a bit
yeah.
strange.
Well, it's
Yeah.
interesting when I had Toady on the show that she said that Yeah, that's a good point. But like the other thing is, how would you fix that, right? How would you fix it? And I'm like, that's interesting. That's a good question. Like, how would you fix it? Like, when you like put a road like on a hill, like on the side of a hill, how would you fix it? Like it digs a bit into the terrain. I mean, we'll see in cities too. We have the cut and fill tool. That's like a fix, right? So
That's
it going to create
help
this
with the
retaining
road, yeah.
wall. Yeah. So that's going to be something really cool. I wonder what it's going to be like when houses spawn in on a hill, or when you place a park, for
Mm,
instance, or a service
mm,
building or something on a hill, how
mm,
that looks. I really hope that it doesn't like get, sometimes when the parking lot is up here and the building is
mm, mm,
like
mm, mm.
parking lot is sloped and everything. It's like,
Yeah,
it looks so
yeah.
weird.
It's always going to be difficult with the game to manage that kind of thing. For the developers, to how much do we put into the landscape? How much do we make the conform to the terrain? It's going to be tricky to see how they've done it with this one.
Yeah.
They did it mostly okay in CS1, but yeah, as you say, you do get the odd bendy house if you you put it on too steep of a hill and stuff. The way I tend to do that with hills, I look for the height of the door, the front door, and make sure that that's at the ground level. So
Makes
it'll
sense. Yeah.
slightly cut in on one side and slightly raised on the other. But yeah, terrain's difficult. But to be honest, it's also a blessing, terrain, because it allows you to put character into your city.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah.
and you get height levels going on and stuff. You know, but yeah, it also it helps with what kind of buildings you use on a hill. So if you use
True.
stuff like the Queen's pack with the content creator pack that just come out with the Brooklyn stuff.
Brooklyn,
Brooklyns.
Queens.
I always say Brooklyns, which is a motor racing. It's a bit honest. I meant to say Brooklyn. No idea why. It's just a slip of the tongue I keep doing. But yeah, those kind of apartment blocks are good ones because they've got that good kind of door that you can go. Each centre of the building is going to be
Mm-hmm.
that's a floor height, and they tend to work well with that kind of thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
they're good ones to use for that.
Yeah, that's good. I like that approach with the front door like being
Mm.
on ground level. That's really really good. So, do you have any memorable moments or achievements from playing the game that you would like to share?
Um, the worst one I had was the last city when that went down to the mods and I couldn't get it back. That
Oh
was
no,
as a memorable moment, yeah. Ooh,
not a
but
good
not in a
one,
nice
but a
way.
memorable one
No,
for sure.
no, yeah. It was a case of they had that many patches and updates and stuff that came out in a short period there. Paradox, you just bang, 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 update DLC, bang, update Paradox, yeah. And the modders couldn't keep up for a while.
There was a lot in a period
Mm,
of time. Yeah.
and it broke me last city, and I was heartbroken.
Oh
It
man.
was it's just happened to Demetrius, hasn't it? El Demetrius has just lost his Alaskan mum. It's just I feel for him.
It's the
And
Seneca Lake, right? Was it that one?
yeah,
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 yeah.
he's just had to wrap it up, and it's like, oh, it was
Yeah.
such
I
a
think he
lovely
just
series he
published
was
his
doing.
last video on that
Yeah,
city.
it's on
Yeah.
Sunday. Yeah, last gone. And I know how it feels. And it's the worst when you lose a city. And it was maxing out the pattern units for the vehicles and sims and stuff. So I couldn't lay transport lines. All the transport lines that were laid were breaking, and it made the game unplayable. And it was like, oh, not me Opus. Magnus Opus City. This is
Not a
and then
pretty one,
biting.
but a memorable moment for sure. Yeah.
And then biting the bullet to actually accept, and yeah, no, this is beyond fiction. And then
Oh man.
now what do I do? And then starting a new city was like there's a panic kind of gotta get a city going
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing now, you know.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
It's
that
it's
was
that's the worst.
if you play with a lot of mods, it's a risk. It's a risk we all run, you know.
Yeah, but still, it's still kind of like
Yeah,
it's really bad when that happens.
yeah, kicking the teeth like.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Speaking of a new city, how do you go about building a new city? Like, do you plan out every little detail, or do
Mm.
you just like pick a map and wing it?
First thing I do is spend a long time looking for a map.
Oh,
Because it's the map that first speaks to me and goes, okay, come build on me. I'm a good map to come and build on. I've got all the features you're looking for. I've got nice connections. I've got nice hills surrounding it, a nice bit of coast that I can put a lovely port
Yeah.
on, a bit of river I can detail around, and whatever it is, there would be something about that map that goes, yeah, and you could put this here, and you could put that there, and you put it, and that's how I kind of first approach what I'm gonna do. But when it actually comes to starting a city, I tend to build them backwards and start with the downtown
Oh,
and the high density. But if you think of a city, they exist through history and they tend to grow in rings. Like a bit like if you cut a tree down, you'd see growth rings.
right. Oh, wow.
So I kind of go, okay, well, let's start with the inner ring and work our way out, kind of thing. And that inner ring tends to be, well, that's going to be the heart of the downtown and your
Yeah.
shopping area and your cool areas and your big high density stuff. So it is kind of absolutely cart about horse in terms of the way the game would have you play in terms of the vanilla play. So yeah, I like to jump in and go, yeah, downtown. Start with a big shopping plaza with high density shops and billboards and the main train station and that kind of thing. And then take it from there and work my way out and end up in the suburbs. And but I'll jump around and maybe do
Wow.
this and that. So that's generally how I start a city these days. Yeah.
That is a cool approach. I've never heard it like that, but it makes sense. I like that. The way cities used to be built. I like that. That's really really cool. Do you prefer modded or vanilla?
Oh, modded,
Modded all
100%.
the way. I was gonna
All
say,
the way,
is it
all
even
the
a
way, all
question
the
or
way.
not?
Yeah, no. I would be dead in the water trying to play vanilla these days. I would be so lost. Yeah. Oh,
That's fair.
I love watching Zuko play vanilla. He's so good at it. Like, you know what I mean?
Jukaboa
I
is
go,
really good. Yeah, that's
I
true.
look at some of that and go, that wouldn't be easy, but mods what he's done there. So
He's doing it vanilla.
yeah. So it's
Yeah, that's
yeah.
that's so interesting. I have something similar. Like I like to play modded as well. I guess I would prefer a lightly modded, some quality of
Mm,
life mods. I
mm,
think currently
mm,
on my live stream city, I think I have not even 10 mods or something, no
mm,
assets, right? And I love it. It's just like the quality of
mm,
life stuff kind of. But yeah, sometimes when even if I do like a heavily modded build and I watch some of these amazing vanilla players or even console players
mm.
that put out YouTube videos on building cities and how they achieve certain looks without mods. I'm like, wow, this looks so much better than my modded city. I'm like, how do you like? And I try to take inspiration from those creators. So it's really really crazy how good some people can build without
Mm.
mods, and it looks like 100 times better than my modded build. So yeah, I 100% understand that. What are your top five mods of all time? Is it possible to
Oh,
narrow it down to five? Just five?
that's tricky, but say number one, got to be movie.
Move it. Oh,
Straight up there, right in number one. Not a question. Probably KOs be next, I would think, because yeah, the things you can do with it are amazing.
yeah.
You can literally whatever your imagination is, that's the limit of POs. I'm not that good at it yet, but even just the limited bits and bobs that I use it for, mostly decals and the odd bit of stretching and bending of buildings and rocks and things.
Hmm.
Even that is just overpowered in terms of just making it look good. It's like wow,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's got to be in there. Ploppable Rico
Oh, that's a good one.
or Rico Revisited or whatever it's called these
Yeah,
days.
yeah. Rico revisited, I think. Yeah, but
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah, but it's not just being able to plop various bits and bobs down, but you can actually use it as kind of a rebalancing tool and a customization tool. So if you do things like save upcoming, I'm going to start getting into kind of like a financial district and the skyscrapers content creator pack, which I've never really placed down as yet because of when it came out in the city I was building at the time was a UK one, which it didn't really fit in for because of the heights that
yeah.
we have in the UK, etc. Blah 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 blah. So like, yeah, I want to get something with a nice big high skyline going on in this city. So, but if you actually look at those buildings, they're all uniques. They're office
That's
buildings.
yeah.
And it's like, no. We're going to save them as locals and we'll create them as office buildings. We'll put jobs in them so they actually serve as office buildings and people will go and work in them rather than just bringing tourists across. So that's one of the ways it's pretty useful as well. But you can also do it for any kind of building. You can set it as residential. For instance, if you like, okay, we've got enough offices now, let's have one of these be a residential tower block, or that kind of thing. So yeah, ploppable Rico, very very useful mod in those terms. What else would we have? Finding.
Find it super good, super useful. Yeah.
Yeah, I find it all the time, just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, going through different things. And one of the recent things I found very, very, very useful was the sub buildings menu as a filter. There's all kinds of different bits and bobs in the sub buildings
Right.
menu
Yeah.
it's an absolute treasure trove of
So true. So true.
weird, wonderful odds and bits. And some of them you look and go, what the hell is that thing? And what build does that odd little thing come off?
Yeah.
But amongst that, really usefully is the boats. You can now place a couple of boats, so that's useful for doing your coastlines. You can put a little pier and put individual boats along them that are straight vanilla pieces that you couldn't place without finding, kind of thing. So it's more than just being able to find stuff as well. You can place things that you wouldn't be able to place as well. Like you can use the settings to say no, use find it to unlock that kind of thing, whereas the game might actually have that locked, whereas find it just go no, you can still place that.
Yeah. So true.
So it's more useful than that. So what are we up to there? I think
That's
that's four.
four.
Is
That's four. Yeah. One more. One more.
no controller.
Node
No controller.
controller.
Yeah. You're making slope roads, and you make the slope nodes, and it's so nice, and the offsets,
really
so as you
good
get
one.
nice and rounded corners,
Yeah.
and I love no controller.
That
Real lovely mod to use, and it's a nice intuitive one as well. Like
yeah. Oh
when you
yeah.
use it, it's as well depending on which version you use. Because
Which
there's
version? Yeah.
two, one slightly more function than the one I use, which is the more kind of intuitive, easy UI.
Interesting choice. I like it. I would agree with that. Yeah. I mean, there's so many more, but that's why
Oh
I
god,
narrow
yeah,
it down to five, because it's very,
yeah.
very difficult
You can't
to just
probably
pick
go on for
five,
about
right?
10.
You could, yeah, you could go
Yeah,
on and on and
yeah,
on. It's like, even for me, it was difficult for my
mm,
build to not go over 10 mods. And I don't count my camera mods, right? Like
mm.
the cinematic camera and stuff like, which I need for like the shots or going
But
closer.
if you're gonna
Yeah.
content created, it's a pretty much
Yeah,
ubiquitous,
right.
isn't it? You gotta have that one.
So yeah, that's it's really really tough to get the like just like the five mods.
Mm,
It's really really tough. But what do you think
mm,
about all the DLCs, the content creator packs?
mm.
Have they been keeping the game interesting? And do you have a favorite in both categories?
Certainly the content creator pack, I wouldn't go favourite on any of them. I think they're all pretty knockout. I think they've all smashed it up. I do like the malls one recently. That was
The
pretty
shopping malls?
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, and the stadiums,
I like that. Those
superb,
both of those.
superb.
Yeah.
Oh, DLCs. Yeah, they a bit more variation with the DLCs. I've got them all apart from one,
Oh,
and that was the financial districts. I took
okay.
I took one look at that. Went nope, nope,
Fair, fair.
nope. Too cartoony. In terms of good ones, I'd say campuses, airports, industries, park life. I'd say pretty top tier.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, absolutely. They add a lot of extra stuff into the game, especially the content creator packs, because they're much more aesthetically realistic and stuff. You know what I mean? And when you mix and match them and bits and bobs them together, it
Yeah.
gives you a much wider palette to work
Mm-hmm.
with in terms of your building and what have you. So yeah, I,
100%.
I
Yeah.
think they add a lot of value to the game, really.
Yeah,
So
I agree, especially
yeah.
for vanilla players, for console
Mm,
players, because you have like even more options now to place buildings to get more
mm,
variety in your city.
mhm.
And I would agree with you on like the financial districts DLC. It's like a DLC. It's uh, I don't know. I wouldn't say controversial, but it's like it doesn't really add a whole lot to the game, in my
Mm,
opinion.
mm.
It's like you got this stock market, which you can, of course, manipulate in your city.
It just felt like a cash grab and a
It's
gimmick
yeah,
to go,
it's
well, if you can't play the game very well, here's a silly easy way you can choose cash.
100%. You can really easy, and
That's what it felt like to me. I was like,
and
ooh,
even if you
yeah.
don't exploit, like if you say you invest in death care and you drop your health budget all the way down, which makes
Mm,
death care go up, of course, but even that you can sort of, if you just watch the stocks on like 3 speed, if you pick out and you just watch how it goes, you can predict where it goes, and
yeah,
you can see from the pattern, like, okay, now I'm gonna get all my money in there, and then, oh,
mhm.
like one in-game day later you can sell it for double the profit, right? So it's very, very,
It's just silly, isn't it?
yeah. I mean, I of
Plus,
course.
I looked at it as well. I thought, how do you have that kind of mixed use thing where you have the more modern buildings over the older buildings and stuff? I was looking at going, well, yeah, and you do see stuff like that in real cities, but I can do it better
Yeah.
with mods than what I've got off the workshop. And even with the vanilla stuff, I can make it better myself just with Move It and Anarchy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what I
You know,
really loved about the game was the banks, the parks. That was really cool. Even if it didn't have like a gameplay aspect, but also the zonable buildings. I think it was office buildings, which you can turn into the financial
mm,
district, of course. And like these buildings, especially with these like also like corner buildings, and they look so amazing. Like the visuals were really, really nice. But yeah, in terms of gameplay experience, maybe not the best one. But I
mm.
think my favorite is plazas and promenades, 100%, because pedestrian
Possibly that.
areas
That's yeah,
is
yeah.
so
And
good.
I do like it.
Yeah, I love the wall to wall buildings. The pedestrian streets, pedestrian
Mm.
roads are so good. Yeah, I mean, of course, Snowfall is a good one because we got trams with that one, right?
But
Um,
that's the only thing. That's the only thing. It was. Do you know that got me as well because I bought I think it was mass transit, I assume, thinking I was going to get the trams.
right. It
You
was
know,
so.
just being a doofus. You know, hadn't installed ability to read, as it were. You know, and yeah, so I bought that. And went, oh, hang on, where's the
I mean,
trams?
what? How would anybody
Oh, it's
assume
in
that trams are
snowfall.
in mass transit, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's literally. I would assume like
Why would you make that assumption?
how. I can 100% agree on that. Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, and then when you know, I did install ability today and found out it was in snowfall. Yeah, okay, let's wish list that one and wait for that to be on sale then.
Okay.
Uh,
Spuds, what are some of the biggest challenges for new or experienced players in the game?
for new players, I would say just the overwhelming amount of it. There's so many new systems to learn. As we were saying earlier about it's got the tax, the health, and you
Everything,
just
yeah.
for a new player, that's kind of where do I start with all this? You know, it's you're looking down the list, going, oh, what am I managing next one? And you just going through this list, well, one after another, one after another. You know what I mean? And it's so yeah, that's the main challenge for a new player. For the older players, I think the challenge is not falling foul to hubris.
Hmm.
And assuming you've got all that rocking away when actually no, the city's in flames behind you, and you detail it away, so
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
there's no lack of challenges with this game.
That is so
It
true.
can bite you in the bum in a million different ways.
That is so, so true. Yeah.
Whether it's a badly placed graveyard or a forest fire.
Very true. I agree. Spuds, how
Uh,
do you make your cities look more beautiful? Can you share some of your
Oh,
secrets?
well, the bit like Zuckerberg's got his meow method. I've got my own kind of methodology, as it
Oh,
were. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Spudsy method. You start thinking about saying your space and your scale and your size and stuff, and you go into like your planning and your preparation, but it's also like practice and patience. Then we have you, which is use everything everywhere and use everything to your advantage. So that's things like using the landscape to guide your roads and to create layers of height and any awkward spots, actually using them specifically to create something interesting. Using old and new buildings next to each other to create history, to kind of do that 3 ring thing I was talking about before with the age of a city, because they don't just appear overnight kind of thing. So yeah, how you mix up your ages of your city to
Mm-hmm.
use things like different road systems. So you might want to be gridded in your downtowns and stuff like that. Whereas as you work your way out, you might want to be more organic and things like that. So where we up to you, D is don't neglect the night.
Oh, okay.
It's quite a big thing with the nighttime. I spent quite a long time detailing in the night, placing lights on things like keys and cliff walls and things like that
Right,
to
right.
illuminate them and give them character of a night and what have you. So then we have S, which is if you've done everything right and you're happy with it, you can sit back and enjoy it.
I like that one.
Or you have second thoughts and second looks, and you go, let's start again. And don't be afraid to start again if what you've built you're not happy with it. You go, I thought this plan was going to work. I've done this, I've done that, and you built it, and you go, nah, not feeling it. Get the bulldozer out, start again. I guarantee the second time you build it, it'll be better than the first time. If you
Hmm.
you always do the second time, it's always better. You've had a kind of practice mental run at the very least that you're going to build it back better. And then the last bit is yes, you can have a yes, you can attitude, and it also yourself put something in yourself into your builds. So something that means something to you. So an example I did was the football stadium. It's actually called the Copper Bowl, but of course I'm a Liverpool fan, so I renamed it the Jurgen Copper Bowl. Just something just to make me smile as I look at it and think. But you can do little different things, whether it's naming something or whatever. That just makes you smile and gives you some little motivation as you look at it to continue doing stuff and just put little different things throughout your city that mean something to yourself, as it were.
Oh yeah,
So,
100%. I like
so
that.
that's the Spudsy method.
The Sponzi method. I like
Spudsy.
Spodzi. I like that method. Yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds pretty cool. I love that you have also a method. Chuka has a method. You have a method.
yeah,
I need to figure out my own method for doing these things. So let's quickly talk about multiplayer or
Mm,
collaborations in City Skylines, which can be seen as sort of a multiplayer. What it essentially means is, for anyone watching or listening in that doesn't know, is that a save game pass around which
mm.
essentially can be seen as a multiplayer where one person builds on the map, passes that save to the next person, and they get their turn and build on that same map, continuing the build that the first person already did. Now, there's a couple of collaborations out there, most prominently being the 5 Builders 1 City by Zardos, the Skyline 6, of course. What do you think about these kind of collaborations? Have you ever participated in one? And if yes, what was your experience like?
Not as yet. I quite like the concept. I like watching, and it makes for good content, I think. And it makes for an interesting city because you're getting different people's perspectives
Right.
as they build, and everyone's got their own kind of little different styles and different things that they bring to it, which always brings some level of interest and what have you. So yeah.
While we're on the topic of collaborations, before we move on, let me quickly shamelessly plug something, and that is the Skyline 6, which is also a collaboration in City
Absolutely.
Skylines. Multiple builders plus guest builders are currently working on a summer vacation city. It is a super fun collaboration to check out. There will be a link in the description, of course, and I highly recommend you check out the City of Friends Discord, which is a Discord I run with 4 other amazing builders. Discord is free to use. We already talked about it in the show, and I would highly recommend, if you want to talk about City Skylines or find out more about this epic collaboration, join the City of Friends Discord. The link is also in the description below. But now, Spuds, we have been recording for over an hour now.
Really?
And
That long?
yes, time flies when you're having
It,
fun,
it does.
right?
It does. It's been a fun chat. Yeah. Oh god. Yeah.
I have one more question for you though. Are there any quick tips that you can give to new players?
Take your time. Don't zone too quickly. You'll end up with dead waves. Zone slowly. Take your time. Take your time to enjoy it. If you're building too quick, you run your city into problems, and you're not enjoying the actual, being able to make it pretty and be able to. So yeah, take your time, and don't feel like you've got to learn everything overnight because as we were chatting before, there are so many different aspects you've got to learn, and whether it's the health system, the education system, blah 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 blah. Yeah, just take your time, allow yourself the time to learn, and keep practicing, and you'll get there. That would be the main tip. And be
That
careful where you place your recycling and graveyards,
I
because
like.
that's the proverbial problem, isn't it? Bins and bodies.
Oh,
We
right,
all
right.
always bins and bodies.
That is a good tip, and I have nothing to add to that, actually. That also concludes the podcast. Thank you so much, Spuds,
Smashed.
for
And
joining
thank you
in.
for having me.
I really appreciate it. Where can we find you? You're on YouTube.
I
That's
am indeed. Yes, I'm Spuds CS on YouTube, and that's all I'm really on with it. I'm not on TikTok or Instagram or any of them. I
okay.
started this as fun, really, rather than to 15, 20 different socials or whatever. So, yeah, just on
Fair.
YouTube is
And
Spuds CS.
your YouTube channel will be linked in the description of this YouTube video. Everyone, please do me a favor. Go check out Spuds here on YouTube. Does amazing videos on city skylines, and maybe you'll find some old Fallout 4 videos as well on there.
No, they're taken down.
Oh, they're
They
taken
were,
down. Oh, so only
yeah,
cities.
yeah,
So
yeah,
only city
yeah.
skylines. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and please stay safe out there. Bye.